I'm Pete Bissonette, President of Learning Strategies. Welcome to the fifth and final video session of Prosperity Accelerator with Dr. Paul R. Scheele, your guide and mentor. He will give you keys to fueling momentum so you can keep your success moving forward. Feel free to share this session with others. Take a minute now and email anyone who should be on these sessions with you. They can get started at www.yourprosperityaccelerator.com. That's yourprosperityaccelerator.com. And now, here's Paul Scheele with Fueling Momentum.
Hi, welcome back. I've described that the acquisition of a new habit that will accelerate prosperity comes in three phases: determination, persistence, and patience. The ancient philosophers describe it with three different words: intention, attention, and no tension. So intention is that you have your goal, you have your dogged determination that you can and you will achieve it. This is where your head and your heart come into play. You name it, you claim the prosperity and abundance that's available to you, and you're going to have it. Attention means that you're putting your energy into your goal on an ongoing basis. You're walking the talk, you're living congruently today, you're doing what you say you will do. This is where your will comes into play. This is where the level of your gut. This is where you blow past fears and hesitations that have kept you in the comfort zone up until now. You're doing what needs to be done. You're going for it. The final phase, no tension. Living with a relaxed awareness. Alert to opportunities as they present themselves. Stepping into possibilities without a sense of neediness about it. You're open, you're ready, you're in the flow, you're resilient, you're confident, you're creative. If you fall, stumble, backslide, you're patient with yourself, you're patient with others. And the serenity prayer comes to mind for this. You call upon serenity to be able to accept the things that are not yours to change. You call on the courage to be able to do what is yours to do. And you call upon the clear-minded wisdom to be able to discern the difference between what's yours and what's not yours. Now, in this session, we're really going to be talking about sustaining your momentum over the long term without any tension. Working with the resources that are within and around you most effectively to embrace the opportunities that are abundant all around you, they're available to you, and you're maintaining greater inner peace and a sense of groundedness. I like to think about this as really living with the feeling of ease and grace. If you're ready to get started, let's start with a brief drop-in so we can get into the ideal mindset for our learning acceleration. So take a moment, if you could, to sit back. Put your feet on the floor, your hands resting on your lap. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, close your eyes. And become aware of the space your body is occupying. This is the fifth and final session of our time together. You've been applying your mind, your heart, your will to the accomplishment of a goal that's important to you. You've seen concrete indicators of success, and you've established a clear commitment to doing what's yours to do to get you where you want to go. Now, the rhythm and flow, the ease, the grace, the momentum is what we're going for. Feel your shoulders relax. Recognize that the floor under your feet, the chair underneath your seat, the support that you have from your breath, from your heartbeat, miraculous, magnificent in every way. Become aware of the muscles of your face and feel your forehead smoothing out, muscles around your eyes relaxing. A hint of a smile at the corners of your eyes and mouth, releasing all the positive neurochemistry that helps you learn to learn more effectively in a more accelerated way. Feel the rhythm and flow of the breath and the touch of it in your nostrils. As you exhale and inhale, recognize a continuous cycle of breath without pause or hesitation, the exhale and inhale of a similar duration. You really do feel good. You've trained your brain to connect with the vast internal resources of your non-conscious mind. You are connected to the universal, infinite intelligence that brought you here. And you're here to deliver your gifts into the world. Feel the sphere of energy surrounding the physical body that you reside in at this moment. The head, neck, and trunk. The physicality of your body, the most dense, energetic field. Imagine it as a sphere of energy all around. And subtler field of energy around that is your emotional body. And all of the energy centers from the base of your torso to the crown of your head lit up with all the lights of the rainbow, moving up and down in a perfect cycle to bring about joy and peace, contentment, gratitude, happiness. And feel the sphere of the emotional body around you. And the subtler field of energy around that, the mental body, with all of the thoughts and experiences that you can draw upon throughout your life. And surrounding that, an even subtler field yet, the spiritual body. This is the true presence and power that you are inhabiting this human experience. Feel yourself complete in every way, fully resourced to bring your gifts and talents into the world, in service to humanity, in service to the world, and notice how the world gives appreciation back for who you are in the form of wealth and well-being, positive relationships and growth, the experience of success. Once again, aware of yourself from head to toe, the relaxation in your shoulders, face, and the touch of the breath in your nostrils. Maintaining this awareness, gently count forward from 1 to 5, and at the last number, open your eyes, feeling refreshed, alert, and ready to go. So way back at the beginning of the program, I made the statement that the key to prosperity acceleration is to create and maintain a habit of expecting the very best of you and others for success, wealth, health, great relations, and the time to enjoy them and growing into the full expression of who you are meant to be. And I asked at the time, what is your habit of expectation? Now, we've been talking about habit acquisition and also the habit of expectation. I've described it in the 3 phases: determination, persistence, and patience. I've also mentioned that perhaps of all the habits that we might develop to acquire, perhaps the habit of a positive expectancy is one of the most difficult to do, at least on our own. If we try to do it without any outside intervention or any strategy or process skills. Why? Because essentially, unlike behavioral skills, which we can develop through trial and error, through action and feedback, persistence of vision and activity in the direction of what we desire, the habit of expectation is a habit of mind. And the mind is so fast. It can quickly outrun, go out of control almost instantly. It's very difficult to corral. Now, if you've ever raised a child from age 2 to 4, you know exactly what I mean. If you've ever raised a puppy, you know exactly what I mean. The human mind is no different than these two. And what is required is more than just determination, more than just persistence. What we need is consistency and patience. No anger, no tension, no frustration. Just very consistent follow through and patience with every little screw up and inadequacy we encounter. The big question is, okay, Paul, this is all fine and good. We'll develop a positive expectancy for the prosperity that's coming to me. But what if I really need to achieve this very fast? For example, your best intentions to reach your long-range financial goals are suddenly overwhelmed by the urgencies of the immediate. What are you going to do? A friend of mine had a financial investor. And over the years, this man brought spectacular returns on their investment. Over 3 years, they eventually trusted him with everything that they had. In all of their investment portfolios and all their savings, they ended up amassing something like $10 million to invest with this man. So you can probably imagine the shock when they found out that their friend and financial advisor was just incarcerated for running the largest Ponzi scheme in history. Yep, it was Bernie Madoff who made off with what's estimated to be around $62 billion. Billion dollars. Essentially, my friends lost everything. Now, they did have a positive expectancy for what was possible, so when their reality bubble suddenly burst, and once the shock had kind of rolled through them, they looked at who they are, their resilience, their ability to create their life the way they've chosen to create it, and they realized they can do it again. And this time, they can do it with even more ease and grace. They'll be able to do it better this time. So when somebody or something that's huge, some disruptive wave of change comes in and just knocks you off course, how do you keep from going back to old patterns of behavior? How do you stay in the driver's seat, keep your hands on the wheel, rebuild your momentum, and achieve the next goal? Let's say you complete a big project. Through great determination and effort, commitment, you cross the finish line. Woohoo! You celebrate. You got it. You made that milestone. Congratulations. Now, let's go back and do it all over again. Let's do it again for the next big project. How do you keep the energy up to run the race again? And again. And again. It's called discipline. Now, Discipline is the patience and consistent achievement that you can find when you understand how the mind actually creates it. Paraliminal titles that will all help in order to create that patience and consistent achievement include Success Built to Last, Peak Performance, Get Around to It, and Self-Discipline. Now, developing a powerful sense of self-discipline is actually not that tough when you understand that the root of the word discipline comes from disciple, which means a follower of a particular path or philosophy. And if you think about you becoming a follower of the unfolding prosperity and abundance as you achieve your goals, now you become a follower of your own way towards a destination that you desire. What I'm going to be showing you here is exactly how the mind can do that for you. It's very different to think about discipline this way because most of us think about it as hardship and austerity, like disciplining a child who's misbehaved with punishment. But it's really something quite the opposite. It's more about clarity, commitment, grace, and ease. To help understand this idea, think about what's called the path of least resistance. If water is flowing downhill, it's going to follow a natural path. It encounters an obstacle, it moves around it. This path that ultimately it will follow from the top of the hill to the bottom, we could call the path of least resistance. Now, the human brain and all the energy systems within us are actually wired to do the exact same thing. We don't want to work any harder than we need to. This whole nervous system is designed to conserve energy. That's why it's so easy to stay in the comfort zone of the status quo. But when you're realizing this cocoon isn't fitting very well and it's time for me to emerge and transform my life to who I can really be, then what you're going to find is that you're going to set a goal, you're going to do what you need to do to get to that goal. So if you're not settling for what you now have, you've established a goal of something new that you're choosing to create, it's a problem because now it's something that you want but don't have. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand on three basic processes that we've used throughout our four sessions up until now. You've already had the experience of these processes. The goal is basically to have these working for you effectively with your mind, your emotions, and your physical energy systems so that it becomes second nature. It's not an effort to do this. It's just something, it's the way you think, it's the way you feel, it's the way you normally respond. Now, going through these, showing you how to do this, it's going to provide immediate benefits each and every time you do that. Hopefully you've already recognized that. Every time you do a drop-in exercise, you feel better. Every time you envision a goal and step into it, you believe more in the possibility that you can have this. Perhaps you receive an unusual call from somebody that, out of the blue, how did this happen? Or like the woman I talked about earlier who said, you know, I set a goal for increasing my income by $10,000 this year. Within 2 weeks, I was given a raise of exactly $10,000. How hard is that? By the way in which you think and the way in which you act, you're naturally, second nature, going to create the life that you truly desire to live into. The three processes all begin in the same way that we've done with all of our sessions, dropping into a relaxed state of alertness so that we can accelerate the learning of each of these processes. Now, just as review, let me remind you how we did this. The first process in the Prosperity Accelerator was to imagine a very unresourceful state from your past right in front of you, making it small, sending it behind you, and then bringing a resourceful state front and center, increasing the dynamic nature of it the image, pumping it up, the best qualities, stepping into it, feeling it, having a full sensory experience. This was essentially designed to blow out self-limiting thoughts and feelings that have a tendency to keep us stuck. The second process was to imagine the end result of your goal already achieved in the future. And once it looks and sounds just right, step into the experience of it that you've already achieved it. Have a full sensory experience. See it, feel it, hear it, experience the accomplishment of it, and look back and see there was a path that you followed to get here. It absolutely destroys anxiety because your brain gets, oh, I can do this. It frees up your most valuable gifts and talents to show up exactly when you need them, wherever you might happen to be. Now, the only drawback of that exercise is that it gives us the experience of success without the accomplishment of success. And so what we need to do is bring in this third process, which is let's take our open mind, our open heart, and then mix it with the power of the will. When you have the open mind, open heart, open will all mixed together, think of a behavior that you want to engage in. Imagine a situation which you could. Experience the rewards of having taken that behavior and done it. And then see yourself doing it, feel yourself doing it, recognize it. And this is an essential move for building new actions and skill sets. These are going to persistently move you along the trajectory of your goal from where you are, wherever you are on that goal trajectory, on a daily basis towards the fulfillment of where you're going. Now, the next process is basically going to use components from all those three previous sessions. The same basic mechanisms are going to take place, but there are a few important modifications. And these modifications are going to accelerate the creation of new action pathways within your brain and body. They're going to help you follow the path of least resistance toward your goal achievement. Ready to go for it? All right. Think about your goal. Think about a behavior that you've committed to engage in. It's one that you need to perform with persistence and tenacity, but for whatever reason, you may have failed to follow through on it. Okay? We're going to do a drop-in, and I've got my script that will help us do each one of these steps. All right, with feet flat on the floor, hands resting on the lap. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, close your eyes. Go within. Become aware of the space the body is occupying. With your shoulders relaxed, your face relaxed, your breath relaxed, flowing in a continuous cycle, deeply and evenly. Think about your goal, the goal that you've established for this Prosperity Accelerator series. Think about a behavior that you've committed to engage in. A behavior that you need to perform with persistence and tenacity. But for whatever reason, you may have failed to follow through on it. For example, you may have made a commitment as part of your health goal to walk every day, but you haven't walked for a few days or a week. If you have a financial goal to increase your income by making more client calls, but you've been avoiding it. If you have a relationship goal to express more appreciation to your significant relationships, but you got upset with them instead. Or if you have a goal to go back to school and increase your personal marketability for a better paying job, but You've been binge watching several sessions of your favorite TV series instead of applying for college admission. You get the idea. There's a behavior you can perform, a behavior you need to perform, but for whatever reason, you've not been consistently performing. You have a behavior in mind? All right. So in your mind's eye, imagine in front of you two large screens. Movie screens, video screens, some large screens. And on the screen on the right, imagine the goal that you've wanted to achieve. The goal that you've wanted to achieve with the behaviors you've desired to engage in, to practice, to get better at, with your intention to live congruently. And on the screen on the left, imagine the behaviors of avoidance, hesitation, fear that you may have been engaging in the past. This represents the inertia of the status quo. This has been your comfort zone. This has been settling for the results that you've been getting, even though they don't represent the dreams that you desire to fulfill. Hold them both in mind simultaneously. The screen on your right begins to play images, sounds, and feelings of you immersed in the choices you've made that align with your values, your goals, your tasks, your priorities, the benefits of achieving the results you desire. Let your mind remember the best of your personal history, all the best thoughts that have encouraged you. The internal feelings of competence, achievement, positive desires to grow and achieve further successes. On that screen, your mind can cue up times in which you've made something a priority and you followed through, achieving what you wanted to accomplish. These are all resources to you, resources that your mind and body remember. You are capable. You can do what you set your mind on. The screen on the left is becoming less vivid. It's becoming smaller, less important. It's fading, it's growing dimmer, while the screen on the right is becoming clearer, larger, brighter, more important, growing stronger and more pleasing. You're communicating with your inner mind in the same way your intuition communicates with your conscious mind. This clear communication helps clear away competing desires, attaining clarity and resolve to achieve your important goal. As the screen on the left fades completely, super tiny, going behind you so it's barely a dot, the screen on the right now moves front and center. On this screen are all the positive experiences that naturally inspire and fuel your will to create. These are the natural patterns your brain and mind use to harness and channel the mental energy, the emotional energy, and the physical power to willfully act on behalf of your best interests. This is how your brain recognizes the easy path to self-motivation and accomplishment. You are, right now, in these quiet moments, connecting with your purest intention to achieve what you desire. This is the ignition switch for accelerating prosperity and successfully launching any goal-achieving action. Anytime you feel stalled out or that your engine isn't fully tuned to its optimal performance, use this technique to get started and get on track. Now, carrying these good feelings with you and fully connected to the brilliant resources within you that accelerate your prosperity each and every day, bring yourself out by mentally counting forward from 1 to 5, and at the last number, open your eyes, feeling good, refreshed, revitalized, and ready to go. So this process that I've taken you through, doesn't it feel great? I mean, it really connects you with what's in you to do what needs to be done. This process can be used anytime you might feel a slight hesitation, concern, worry about whether you might succeed or not. And even if you're getting ready to go into a meeting, you can take a couple of minutes, drop in, use the screen, 2 in front of you, 1 fades, goes behind. You have that image in front of you of your success, and you are following the path of least resistance to your goal. I remember giving a speech in front of 1,200 people, and before I was called onto the stage, I was sitting on the side, just dropped in. I was sitting down, it was absolute calm, and the head of the organization was looking at me and saying, "Why aren't you standing up? Why aren't you getting pumped up?" And I just looked at him and smiled, and there's this burst of energy coming through me. That's a way to get in tune with all the power and potential that's in you to accomplish what you desire. It's like nitro charged. It's a booster that you can give yourself in 3 minutes. And if you need to go to the restroom to have a quiet time, if you don't want to do it publicly, just close the stall door, sit there and do that. It works great. Now, as you can see, this is a super simple process. 2 screens, your history on your left, your capabilities and strengths and desired behaviors on your right. You fade the one to the left, bring the right one front and center. Boom, you're golden. You're all set to go. Now, this is actually the first of a 2-part process. That was ideal for creating that path of ease and grace so that your brain and your body naturally want to do what gets you to your goal. It stacks, piles up, and builds resourceful states. So it, in essence, is helping you gain access to the chutzpah it needs to tackle any obstacles so you can say, "Oh, I got this. I'm on it. This is great." The next part of this process came as a result of a really stunning realization I gained from working with a Dr. Akhtar Ahsan, who created a technology called eidetics. So up until now, we've really been looking at, you decide on what behaviors you're going to engage in and get us to our goals, and then we contact the non-conscious mind and we really see it, step into it, and feel that we've got the power to be able to do it. In this exercise, it's a slight different thing. When we bring our goal to the non-conscious mind, essentially it's connected to what we would call the pure imaginal realm. That field of energy that's always coming into us to realize the fullest expression of who we are in the world. And essentially what we're doing is we're contacting that higher intelligence and asking it to show us the best ways and means to get to the goal. So essentially what we're doing is we're following the path that the inner mind, the higher intelligence, actually lays out for us. So we're responding to the intuitive guidance that will accelerate our progress and help us realize our fullest intention, fully embodied every day, day by day. Now, that's really the difference between the conscious mind and the non-conscious mind. You see, the conscious mind is great at setting the goal and knowing what it is you want. The non-conscious mind is best at finding the way to the goal, the how. Not the what, but the how. So when we get into alignment with that greater power and presence that's expressing through us, essentially what it's going to do is that's what's going to accelerate our prosperity. And actually, this moment right here is the goal that all the previous sessions have been building to. The goal of the whole Prosperity Accelerator series. Now, at this point in the program, it should be making sense to you about how and why it works. So this next process that I'm going to be taking you through is about taking a specific goal, a specific behavior you know you can do, and expanding your connection to the best ways and means for accomplishing it. You ready to do it? I call this exercise contacting source. Paraliminal technology is really about that. It's about getting beyond the limitations of the conscious mind and recognizing that at every moment in time we're always tapped into and channeling the very highest universal energy and power as that presence that's inhabiting this physical experience. I'm going to show you how to do this and make that connection for yourself. You all set? Let's do it. Oh, before we do, stand up. Let's do a little movement, drink of water to hydrate. A little stretch. Feel yourself expanding a little bit, reaching out. We did some bouncing last time. We did some tapping, or some cross-crawl patterns another time. So any of these exercises are going to be great, anything that will help you move. What I'd like you to do is just have your arms flop back and forth. So just looking straight ahead, move your arms and rotate your body side to side. Now, move with your arms. Nice and easy. Good. Now let's do some tapping. The emotional freedom technique tapping. So give yourself this affirmation, follow along with me. Even though sometimes I fail to follow through, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Sometimes I've stopped my progress when I came to obstacles. And I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Sometimes I've been held up in my comfort zone, even though I've stopped the forward progress. I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Good. Now I want to remind you that this is a process you can do throughout your day, right? Every hour and a half, 45 minutes, stand up and move. Even when my wife and I are in a car and driving across country for several days, we set our timer for every 45 minutes and we do movement exercises, we do tapping, various exercises like that. Move, we hydrate. Even while sitting in the car, you can do that. And what it does is it helps bring your full resources online for you to be maximally effective at whatever it is that you might be doing. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start with the brief drop-in as you've learned to do and are really connected into now. Feet on the floor, hands resting on the lap. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, close your eyes. Letting your shoulders drop. Letting the muscles of your face relax. Noticing the touch of the breath in your nostrils. You are in this present moment, right now, connected with all of the vast resources of the universe, expressing through you as you. Imagine the two screens in front of you right now. The screen on the right, you imagine the goal that you've wanted to achieve, with the behaviors you've desired to engage in, practice, and get better at, with your intention to live congruently. The screen on the left, imagine the behaviors of avoidance, hesitation, fear that you may have engaged in the past. This represents the inertia of the comfort zone and status quo. It's about settling for the results you've been getting, even though they don't represent the true dreams that you desire to fulfill. Let your mind hold both images simultaneously. Feel the energy of the two screens. Holding them simultaneously lets your mind and body realize that the path of least resistance is the path to the future of your desired achievement. That's the easier, more successful, more fulfilled, joyous, and happy way to live your life. And your nervous system knows it. Your brain and body know this. As you hold both screens simultaneously, the screen on the left, with its past behaviors and emotions, begin to diminish, while the screen on the right becomes more positive and significant. The past is over. The screen on the left becomes less vivid, smaller, less important, fading, growing dimmer, while the screen on the right is becoming clearer, larger, brighter, more important, growing stronger and more pleasing. The future is bright. The past is over. Look to the future. All of the energy and power of the universe is opening to you, and you can step wholeheartedly into your future with a deep and relentless knowing that you can achieve what's important to you. Screen on the left is so tiny, it goes behind you. It's a dot behind you. It's gone. You are ready, willing, able to claim the goal that you have desired. And there is a natural path for your energy to flow with ease and grace each day, step by step, accelerating your momentum, accelerating your prosperity, increasing your access to the abundant resources within and all around you. Feel this deep inner knowing embodied in your cells, in the molecules and atoms of your body. You are here in the world for a reason. And expanding your prosperity is now bringing your life to its fullest expression. As you imagine the fulfillment of your goal, the greater intelligence operating through your non-conscious resources of mind, the brilliant intuition and insight that have been developed throughout your life, they're all available to you. Your higher intelligence knows the greatest expression of your life, the purpose of your life, the values you hold, the gifts and talents that you are here to bring into the world. It knows the best ways and means to guide you there. Your connection to these further resources, now fully available to you, guide you, nudge you, show you the most elegant and beneficial ways to proceed. Each day you continue increasing your trust in this greater power within you to guide you unerringly to your highest expression. You have moved in awareness beyond the limitations that have kept you in the past. That comfort zone that was a safe cocoon to develop in. And the transformation that you've desired is now taking place. You are self-transforming the ways in which you interact with yourself, with others, with your goals, with your mind, emotions, and body. The higher intelligence within you is guiding your fullest expression as you choose to be in full alignment with it, living congruently, and each day marking progress in the direction of your goal. And carrying these good feelings with you and fully connected to the brilliant resources within that accelerate your prosperity each and every day, bring yourself out by mentally counting forward from 1 to 5. And at the last number, opening your eyes, feeling good, refreshed, alert, in tune with life. Fantastic. Welcome back. Congratulations. This is the conclusion of our 5 sessions together. My encouragement for you is to use the practices that you've gained. Be a disciple of your own path of realizing the full expression of your life. The Paraliminals are here for you to help you on a regular basis to get you where you want to go. This is a time for your momentum to really crank up and get you to the goal that you've selected. Come back to this program and listen to it in 6 months. As you do, you're going to find this is a completely new program for you. New insights, new observations, new recognition of all the things that you've been doing that you actually programmed your mind to do are showing up naturally and spontaneously on an ongoing basis. You're going to find these strange connections, these recognition and realization of that's exactly what I had established for myself when I did that process. Keep noticing those concrete indicators of success in the direction of your goal. Congratulations on accelerating your prosperity. See you again soon.
Pete Bissonnette back again. I'd like to add a wee bit to what Paul said about concrete indicators of success. Be looking every time you use a paraliminal for anything that could point back to you using a paraliminal. So for example, Paul mentioned the get around to a paraliminal in this session. Pay attention in the next 24 hours to anything that would indicate the paraliminal had a positive effect on your thinking, your emotions, or your behaviors. It could be that you were putting off doing a financial report and you found yourself doing it. Or you had been procrastinating contacting a client and you found yourself looking for their telephone number. When you notice it, say, "More like that, please," and make a mental note that that happened as a result of you using the get around to a paraliminal. Let's look at another example, this time with the Peak Performance Paraliminal, which Paul created with performance expert Tom McCarthy. If in the days after listening you feel more motivated to do your best work, then say more like that, please, and consciously attribute that motivation to using the peak performance. You want to do this because success breeds success, and every time you notice something, your non-conscious mind works to duplicate it. More like that, please, and that gets momentum going. That makes all of the paraliminals more effective in the future because your non-conscious mind is learning that you like the results you get from paraliminals. It sees you expect results and it will deliver. Always look for indicators of success. Journal them if you can. It's a great way to reinforce your success. Paul also talked about the Success Built to Last Paraliminal, which Paul created with Stuart Emery, author of the book by the same name. Success Built to Last is about wiring in what you need for enduring success. Success that lasts, not that flash-in-the-pan success, but good ongoing success. The self-discipline paraliminal is also key to fueling momentum. Through listening to that session, you can access the source of inner power, of determination, and commitment to accomplish your tasks and goals in the most efficient ways possible. This paraliminal helps you eliminate energy wasters and develop a disciplined habit of taking consistent actions on the things you need to do. I'm a huge proponent of you getting the Ultimate You library of paraliminals because they're amazing 20-minute tools to help you through most any issue involving your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. Whatever you'd like to accomplish or resolve can be done more easily with a paraliminal, especially when life throws you a curveball. And yes, we've been talking a lot about prosperity and wealth, but paraliminals are good for every area of your life, including health and relationships and personal growth. And it doesn't matter whether you're simply wanting to live a better life, or you have a major goal and want top performance, or you're on a spiritual journey. Paraliminals are here for you. Each comes with a guidebook that gives you tons of ideas and insights to get more value from the paraliminals. They're a great resource for you. You can follow this link on the webpage to order the Ultimate You library of paraliminals. We have a special price for you today, so feel free to order the entire library or any of the individual paraliminals. Now, I'd like to take a minute to explain how the digital access works. You can upgrade by ordering CDs that will ship to your home or permanent digital files, and we're finding that most people are choosing the convenience of digital. As soon as you upgrade, you can access the recordings through your library. Just go to learningstrategies.com or paraliminal.com and you'll see a My Library link at the top right of the page. The recordings and guidebooks will be there waiting for you, all with no shipping costs. You can easily download the recordings to your computer device, or you can stream them whenever you're connected to the internet. You can read the guidebooks that come with each paraliminal on your computer or device, or you can print them. Your access to My Library does not expire. They will always be there for you. We've been here since 1981, and we expect to be here long into the future supporting you in every way possible. When you order today, you'll also receive the weekly The Fix newsletter with tips on using your paraliminals. Past titles have included Uncertain About Your Future, How to Be Happy, Poor Be Gone, When You Can't Stop, Triggered by Nasty People, Dealing with Negative Thoughts, and much more. What a great resource. And you can easily opt out of the newsletter too. Your paraliminal also comes with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, and you have complimentary access to a success coach during Minnesota business hours. It's all to support you living a great life. Thank you for being here for the Prosperity Accelerator. I know that everyone at Learning Strategies joins Paul and me in being grateful that you look to us for maximizing your potential. We all hope you receive tremendous benefit, and we look forward to serving you long into the future.